Hello everyone, welcome to class today. For my lesson plan, I did third grade. My understandings were students will understand the pronouns that are important. So I focused a lot on pronouns throughout my lesson. How do pronouns work and what do they refer to? So the standard I chose was CCSS.ELA Literacy 3.1a, which states explain the functions of nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs in general and their function in particular sentences. So for my lesson plan, I chose to use the book Charlotte's Web. So I have that right here. So I would have Charlotte's Web, and then I would make sure that I had the doc cam ready to go. So for my introduction, for invitation to notice, I would read the first 4 sentences of Charlotte's Web, putting it underneath the doc cam for everyone to be able to see what I'm reading. And if I was doing this, it would be like we were reading this together as a class, and so they would know what was going on in the story prior to this, so it wasn't completely out of context for their life. And then we would have a class discussion about what pronouns they see in the sentence and what the different pronouns refer to. Just kind of getting their minds moving a little bit. And then for compare and contrast, I would read the next 2 sentences of the chapter and compare and contrast the different pronouns that are used and what they tell us about the characters and what is going on in the story. And then we would just discuss this as a class. We would discuss how we know which pronouns are being used and how they are used in place of a person, and then how we know which pronouns are used through looking at the person, gender, and ownership, and amount, like how many things there are. And then as a class, we would write a sentence on the board that includes a person and a pronoun, and then to help visualize, I would write the sentence on the board and then have them we would draw an arrow from the person to the pronoun. And then I would have students split off into pairs and write two sentences that include a person and a pronoun. And then for invitation to celebrate, I would have every group come up really quickly, or maybe just like a few groups depending on how much time we have for this mini lesson. And I would just have them read that one sentence for us, not both sentences, just one, just so that we can celebrate their knowledge of it. And then if they are having like a hard time, we can just like have them draw the person to the pronoun over and over again just so they can grasp it. And then for apply in my closure, I would have them write in their journals a few sentences about something that happened over the weekend using pronouns and trying to really pay attention to the use of them. And then for my assessment in the last edit, I would write 3 sentences on the board. And this is a really fun little activity, but I chose sentences from Charlotte's Web that I put in the story. So they would have to correct the sentences like on an exit ticket. And so I wrote, she loved to stroke his, to feed their, to put he to bed. So they know what's going on in the story because of where we're at in the unit, but it would be a really silly sentence for them to fix and really drive the concept home into their heads as like a final, but they also will have to test their knowledge. And then another little silly sentence would be, Wilbur ran to she and her held the bottle for him while his sucked the bottle. So yep, that was my little lesson. And then I also included some like differentiation in my lesson, which I thought would be kind of important in this lesson. I made sure that there like was a lot of visual. There's not as much kinesthetic other than that they're drawing it over because they're seeing a lot during this lesson and they're watching me do it on the board. They're somewhat writing it out. But I was thinking about how in these lessons, it's really hard to do kinesthetic learning in grammar. But if you can have them draw it out, that like creates some movement of drawing and connecting. And I know that really helped me as a kid. So yeah, that's my lesson. Have a great class.